should be up and running now. Hello everybody, welcome to Breakout Racing League, BRL Tier 6. We are here today in Canada to wrap up this weekend's racing. As I said earlier, or just now, Tier 6, 13 drivers here tonight. Looks nice and sunny for qualifying. We're getting ready to have another cracking race this weekend, as we have throughout the weekend with our other 5 tiers and realistic and F2 as well. Looks like a Ferrari of Bald Guy will be first out the pit lane. Either Bald Guy or Physicist, one of the two. Looks like it's Physicist, and I am by myself tonight, so bear with me, as I have no one to back me up, so hopefully I can catch as much action as possible. And let me turn this audio down real quick, just so the cars aren't too loud for you on board. Physicist is the first car out of the garage. Apparently I am hearing a weather report for the race. Looks like we're in for a very chaotic Canadian Grand Prix, especially after last week's finish. If what I'm hearing is true, heavy rain in the race. So it's fully dry, so it really doesn't matter what tires you qualify on. Physicist very deep at that hairpin and hits the wall, actually. For his sake, I hope he doesn't have damage. Yep. I wonder what pole will be tonight. I know it's been very close across the other tiers this weekend. Physicist starting his lap now on the medium compound of tires. Let me get this track map up as well. Maybe a little bit of telemetry. I'll talk you through this lap with Physicist breaking down into turn 1 third gear. Let's shift up to 4th gear, then down to 2nd. Now short shift up to 3rd. Traction out, and he loses the car already, and he keeps it off the wall. Luckily. Wavy navigates through the swung car of Physicist. Good thing he kept it out the wall and hopefully kept it out of damage. Looks like Soviet Valkyrie is also on a lap right now, the only other driver to be on the lap, as Physicist has messed up his lap quite a bit as he stays out the way of Soviet Valkyrie. So Soviet Valkyrie will be the first one to set a lap tonight. As I said, I am hearing reports of heavy rain during the race. Yep, more reports of heavy rain during the race. So looks like it's going to definitely be all softs this qualifying. No points for mediums, as I'm hearing from other competitors in the chat. Soviet Valkyrie opens DRS on the final straight. Now be careful for this final chicane. It can catch you off guard at any moment. Navigates it pretty well, no invalidation. DRS open, powering to the line. The banker time for everyone to beat, a 1 minute 12.1. Not too bad, not too bad. Physicist looks like he's going on to another lap after that spin on the first lap, so we'll see if he can do anything to challenge Valkyrie on those medium compounded tires. Wavy, purple sector 1 on his lap, now opening DRS in the middle sector. Looks pretty clean so far. We'll see if he can match that purple sector 1 with a purple sector 2 here. Coming towards the end of the 2nd sector, DRS detection zone would be here during the race, but we might not be using it tonight, especially if there is heavy rain. Does say purple sector 2 for Wavy. Let's see how realistic that is. DRS open now. Powering down the back straight, using that Honda power to all the use he can. Braking for the final chicane. Avoid that wall of champions as best you can on the limit. DRS open, powering to the line. Wavy does a 1:11.4, beats Soviet Valkyrie by 7/10. Joseph, I will get to him later. He is on a lap right now. Ball guy's invalidated. Sprightly. Actually, I'm trying to see who will be next across the line. And it looks like it will be Butters coming to the final chicane. Navigates it pretty nicely on the entry, but misses the apex on the exit, but he does keep it off the wall, and he does a 1:10.3. How about that? Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, Joseph will be the next to cross the line. No, he won't, because he is invalidated. That means Sprightly will be the next to cross the line. DRS open, runs out of ERS 1:10.1. Pips Butters by 0.2 of a second. Not Mary Jane. Aphids is starting his lap right now. I think Wavy, yeah, he's going into the pits. Who am I looking at? That's Mary Jane crossing the line on an invalidated lap, unfortunately. Physicist improves to P4 for the time being. I think Books is just now starting his lap. Another Williams of Soviet Valkyrie crossing the line again to start yet another lap, it looks like. Interesting to see who can get pole here. Not really much use in running the mediums now, especially since reports of heavy rain in the race. Aphid now is on those medium compounded tires, and let me, there we go. Let's do fitted. Aphid right on the limit on the exit there, keeps it out of the wall of champions to the line. P5 beats out Soviet Valkyrie. Aphid does a 1:11.9. Books is on a lap on the final straight now. Well, kind of the final straight. It's broken up by the chicane, and he navigates that really nicely. Opens up DRS. Let's see what he can do. Can he challenge the top? Yes, he can. A 1:09.7. Great lap from Books there. We'll see if anyone can do anything to challenge that. Ball guy's on an out lap. Looks like Joseph is also on an out lap. And actually, now this would be the appropriate time, hopefully, to take you on board for a lap of Canada. So Joseph preparing his car now, coming into the final chicane. Whether this lap gets invalidated or not, I will try to take you through all of it. Joseph breaking down into turn 1, elects for 4th gear for more top speed into the corner. 2nd gear for turn 2, extra rotation. Shifting out of the corner very nicely. Get to the left-hand side for this chicane, and he navigates that pretty nicely as well. Now up to 7th gear. Flat out through this turn. Now breaking down into 3rd gear. Hook that curve just a little. Hook that curve as well just a little. Nice and smooth on the traction out of there. Open DRS. Now get to the left for the next braking zone. Down to 3rd gear, maybe 4th gear. 4th gear. 4th gear now coming out of there. Good on the traction. No wobbly rear end as I can see. Now braking into the hardest braking zone on this track. The hairpin navigates that pretty nicely as well. Powering out of that hairpin. Up to 8th gear. DRS wide open down the final straight. We'll see what he can do to challenge the top times. I don't think the lap's invalidated yet. He navigates the final chicane. It might be invalidated. I'm not sure. No, it's not. We'll see. Where does Joseph go? P1. 1:09.4. Surprise, surprise. Back on top. But everybody holds your horses, because there is some news that I need to break to you as we're spectating Joseph at this moment in time. And editors after the race, putting this on YouTube, this would be an appropriate time to add this as in context before the race. Joseph, no matter where he finishes this race, or if he finishes this race, I should say, because I believe it carries over if he DNFs. I am not sure about that at all. But if he finishes this race, a 10-second time penalty will be applied to his final time due to him doing donuts after his qualifying lap last week. So it's unfortunate for him, but behavior like that was pretty unacceptable. So 10-second time penalty for Joseph after he crosses the line tonight. Back on to qualifying. Joseph's teammate Zig is coming to the final chicane right now. Keeps it well out of a penalty area, and it looks like that McLaren behind navigates it much better. Zig goes P6 with a 1:11.1. Avi now starts a lap in his McLaren right behind the Alfa Romeo of Zig. Hopefully Zig can get out the way as soon as possible. Avi going through toward the end of the first sector. I think Zig needs to get out the way as soon as possible, as Avi now opens DRS. Purple sector 1, it says. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but let's stay on board for the rest of this lap, assuming it doesn't get invalidated. Avi, very smooth so far. Probably will say purple sector 2. Interesting. We'll see if that is true. Hairpin, very smooth as well. Nice traction out of it. Now opening DRS now for the final. DRS, well, technically not final, but third DRS zone of the lap. Now going into the final chicane, he invalidates it. Let's see anyway what Avi's time would have been. It would have been a 1:09.9, not too bad for Avi. Unfortunately invalidated it, so does not count, but he knows the pace is there. Joseph off into the grass to try to stay out the way of other people on laps. Affid is 2.5 tenths up on his time right now when he hits the wall. Gets a massive snap of oversteer there. I wonder if he has damage. Doesn't look like it because he's still pushing. Wow, that was a smack and a half of the wall, and he's still pushing, but unfortunately, he has invalidated that lap now. As well as Avi having invalidated his previous lap and this lap that he was doing. Means I think Brooks is the only valid time right now, and yes, he is. Because I think he just crossed the line to go into second. Or improve on his time. I think he improved on his time in second. He did not move up or down anywhere. He just improved on his time as we're getting into crunch time here in qualifying, and Soviet Valkyrie ran very deep there. Physicist on a lap, unfortunately invalidates this lap and next lap. So he will have to rush, maybe get a new set of tires on. Soviet Valkyrie marginally up at the moment. Will she finish this lap? No, goes straight into the pit lane. Books going straight into the pit lane as well. I think Butters is on an out lap. Yes, he is. Physicist on an invalidated lap, so there's that. We have people coming out at the last moment. Butters keeps out the way of Henchman as they are both about to start laps. Henchman coming through the final chicane. Don't invalidate it here. Opens DRS, and here begins his lap. Going into the first corner, very clean, down to fourth gear, hits that apex nicely, down to second gear, second turn. He gets a little bit of wheel spin throughout the corner, but still keeps it relatively clean. We'll keep an eye on both his lap and Butters right behind him, and he gets another massive snap of oversteer. Keeps it off the wall, though. Pushing the car to the limit right now, uses all the track there, including the grass. Opens DRS. Breaking down now into fourth gear for this corner. Does not invalidate his lap either. Going down into the hairpin now. He does a 40, I think that was a 41.4. Let's see what Butters, oh, Butters has unfortunately invalidated his lap behind. Henchman's still on his lap. DRS open now. This might be one of his last chances. And he invalidates it and spins. And he is out of qualifying. P12. Maximum for Henchman. Clobbered the curb at the final corner. And he is out of qualifying with his right front ripped away from that Mercedes car. A possible contender for pole here, BRL Butters. Doesn't show up every week, but when he does, he shows up with quite some pace, actually. Now he's going to the end of the first sector. It is a purple sector 1. 2 tenths up already on his time. Looking like a good time right now. DRS wide open, going to the end of this straight now. Breaking down. Keeps it out of the invalidations too. This looks like a really good lap here from Butters. Can he challenge the top times? Not a purple sector 2, but still 3 tenths up. Right now, he is provisionally P2 if he keeps 3.5 tenths up on his time. DRS open. This will probably be Butters' final run. So he needs to make the chicane count. Does he? Yes, he does. And he keeps it valid. DRS open to the line. Where can Butters go? Only P3 lost time in that final sector. Now stays out of the way of Books, who might be another contender for pole tonight. That is Butters qualifying over P3 maximum for him. Books up next. He is up in the first sector, marginally about 700s, keeps it valid, uses all the track. DRS open right now. This is looking like a good lap as well. Can he keep it together in this chicane? Wow, uses a lot of track there and keeps it valid. Now to the end of sector 2, Joseph improved his time, but Books is 3.5 tenths up. He might be able to challenge Joseph here for pole. Books opens DRS. Excuse me there. Books going into the final chicane. He needs to make the chicane count if he wants any chance at pole. Pushing it to the limit. DRS open. Powering to the line. Can he get pole? Yes, he can. A 109.1. How about that? And it looks like a traffic jam back in the rest of the field. Can anyone challenge Books up front? I don't think so right now. I think that is not over, but Mary Jane jumps up into P7. Avi unfortunately invalidated his lap. Bald guy going to the line, P8. And that is qualifying done and dusted. Books getting pole position in the closing moments of qualifying. Unreal. Out qualifying Joseph by a tenth and a half. But for the rest of the field, it's almost a half a second. From second to third, it's almost a half a second, I should say, to make it that clear. But yeah, Books on pole position for the Tier 6 Canadian Grand Prix. Affid qualified on mediums, not too sure why, as it is full wet conditions in the race. Would like to remind everyone that Joseph will have a 10-second time penalty added on top of his time at the end of tonight's race once he crosses the finish line. To go over qualifying, Books takes pole position in the final seconds. Joseph P2, Butters P3, Physicist P4, Sprightly P5, Wavy P6, Mary Jane P7, Bald Guy P8, Aphid P9 on mediums, even though that doesn't matter. Zig P10, Soviet Valkyrie P11, Avi P12, and Henchman, after unfortunately wrecking out in the final chicane. Weird, he didn't hit the wall of champions though. He did not hit the wall of champions. He hit the inside wall this time and tore off his right front tire and retired from qualifying. As you can see, as I said earlier, full wet conditions for tonight's race in Canada. It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a chaotic one. You can definitely put your money on that. You don't mind me, I will take a sip of water real quick and be back in 20 seconds. All right. I am back, and yes, monsoon conditions it is, and Wreckfest V3. Yep. Can definitely expect that tonight. I don't expect it to be green flag racing all through the first lap. There will be someone who is out. Someone, because it is soaking wet at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve here in Montreal. Monsoon conditions. Not sure about that. Let's see. Let's go on board. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's monsoon. That's raining pretty hard. Yeah, that's raining pretty hard. Everyone is on full wet tires. Has to be, right? Yes. It would be crazy if they weren't. Yeah, everyone's on full wet tires. A Mercedes at the front, a Mercedes at the back. Like Tier 2 Season 4 all over again. Well. It definitely is going to be a chaotic one. Books and Joseph coming through the final chicane, getting ready to line up on their grid spots. Well, we're getting ready to go racing here in Canada. It's going to be very slick, very chaotic. As Henchman lines up in his final grid slot now. We are now just waiting for those 5 red lights to come on. There's 5 red lights ahead of the drivers. It's lights out and away we go. Everyone with a really tentative start. Wheel spin all over the place. It is pouring down rain here in Canada. And Books leads into the first corner. And there's a bunch of people wide in the background trying to avoid contact. Aphid looks like he's wide in the grass there. Oh, it's so tentative conditions here as everyone is very slow off the line. Does not look like there's any contact though. Books leads the way into the first sector, and Joseph is still behind him. The timing on the left side of your screen is incorrect, and there's a yellow flag somewhere. Oh, it's all popping off in this middle sector right now, isn't it? They're too wide trying to go into here, and someone is off behind in a Zig. They all file their way through here. Does Zig have any sort of damage? Cannot tell right now. It looks like he does right side wing damage. And Joseph is already all over the back of Books, and Butters falling off the top two a little bit. I don't think he's 8 seconds behind, but I don't think he's 8 seconds behind Joseph. Soviet Valkyrie having a great start. Now up into P6. Oh, cuts the chicane a little bit. And Books has lost the lead going to the line. Joseph takes the lead. Oh, but he runs wide a little bit, and Books is looking to get the traction back on him, but Joseph still there. Now Books gets him in the second phase of traction, and he regains the lead. Just a reminder, once again, Joseph has a 10-second time penalty applied to his time at the end of this race. So as those two battle it out up front, I have no idea how no one is retired from this race yet, but I'm probably jinxing that by saying that, as it is chaotic in this midfield. Let's see the biggest movers as we let's see the biggest movers as we look at this battle up front. There it is. Soviet Valkyrie up 5 positions from P11, already up to P6. Great start for her. Joseph looks to be challenging for P1 right now. Looking in the background, Butters might be a little bit under pressure from last week's podium sitter, Mary Jane, looking to make it a repeat podium this week. Joseph once again looking, and Zig already has a 3-second time penalty, and even though it's wet, time penalties will still play a factor into tonight's race, and Joseph still challenging. Up front we have a yellow flag. That is Zig again in the hairpin, unfortunately. A very poor Canadian Grand Prix for him so far. And Books still leads the way. Joseph and Books pulling away from the pack by about 4 seconds at this point, and Henchman is out of the race. What has happened to the Mercedes? Man, he has crashed out at the end of the first sector, and that will be a safety car. A safety car Zig needed. Definitely. 45 seconds off the pack. I don't think we'll see anyone pitting here. And was it supposed to be torrential conditions this entire race? May I ask chat if anyone knows? Henchman, I know you were in here a few minutes ago. Oh, Mary Jane was speeding under safety car and now receives a drive-through penalty. That is unfortunate. Looking for a back-to-back podium. That will be less likely now. Well, everyone but Zig has no penalties, and Mary Jane has a drive-through, unfortunately. So, I said on lap 2 that can't believe no one had retired yet. In lap 3, someone retired. So, can say commentators curse, but we all kind of expected it now. It is torrential wet conditions, and I don't care what tier it is. I don't care if it's tier 1, I don't care if it's tier 6. Someone will probably retire in these conditions. Someone who this does not help out is Joseph, as he was pulling a gap to the pack. And now, unfortunately, the pack is closed back up, and he has a 10-second time penalty to go on top of his finishing time tonight. Ooh, Butters looked like he was really wide at turn 1 there. Mary Jane still has a drive-through penalty to serve once the safety car comes in. Unfortunate for her race, as a back-to-back podium is now looking less likely. Zig looks like he's struggling to catch up to the back of the pack. As the cars file their way through the hairpin, we are waiting to go racing again. Does not look like it will be this lap, unfortunately, as the pack has not bunched up yet. So probably at least one more lap. And unfortunately, I do not have a co-commentator to occupy you. But I need to use the restroom real quick. Probably didn't need to mention that, but I do need to mention that because that will explain the next minute of silence. I'll be back for the race restart. All right, don't worry, as I am back for the safety car restart, and Books is now coming through the final chicane, waiting for his signal to go, and there's a Red Bull off in the background. That's Butters. Has he hit the wall on the exit? I don't think so. I don't see any wing damage on his car. Physicist goes wide, and so does Mary Jane. Their Physicist is way off in the grass area, and Sprightly is now up into P3. Books still leads the way from Joseph, who has a 10-second time penalty to be applied to his time. Mary Jane still has a drive-through penalty, and there's another yellow flag and Zig again. Spun around. Nice one there. Physicist up into P4 after being in the grass in turn 1. Still somehow Butters still hangs on. Lost the rear end on the exit of that restart, but he's still in P5 and still can make a good result out of this race, maybe even a podium. Soviet Valkyrie still in P7, improving from her starting position of 11th, and Wavy and Bald Guy are looking to go at it right now. They're going side by side. Who breaks later? Bald Guy breaks later, but who is going to yield? And Wavy actually yields that position there at the chicane. And there's a yellow flag in the background there. Not sure who that was for, as Mary Jane serves her drive-through zig speeds in the pit lane. Soviet Valkyrie up into P5. Butters struggling on those wet tires. Soviet Valkyrie up into P5, looking to make a charge for the podium positions, and I do see that penalty flag next to Joseph's name. 3-second time penalty for Joseph on top of the 10-second time penalty he already has. But Joseph still, despite that time penalty, is pulling away from third place and is looking to challenge Books for the lead of the race on track, of course. He sticks behind for the chicane, but can he get a good run out of this final corner? Books also gets a 3-second time penalty. So this race might have just opened up for the rest of the pack as well. Joseph sets the quickest lap of the race, and without that DRS, it's just becoming a little bit harder to pass than usual. Will he try around the outside there? No, he won't. Can he get good traction? He gets decent traction out of there, but not enough to challenge into the next braking zone of the track. Just checking back, and the rest of the pack. Everything looks nice and tidy right now. Probably won't be like that for long. Let's keep track of this battle up front. Joseph still all over the back of Books. This looks to be the closest battle on track. I don't know. The McLarens are pretty close, actually, and Mary Jane gets by Abby, who's really struggling for grip on those wet compound tires. Keeps it on track, at least. Looked like Zig was in the pits again. His race might be coming to a close. Bald Guy gets by Butters, who still seems to be struggling on those tires. Books goes into the pit lane and gets a 5-second time penalty. Hitting for another set of wets? Interesting. There's a bunch of drivers in the pit lane, all coming in for another set of wet. Oh no, Sprightly's going on to intermediates. And you know what? It just might be time for intermediate conditions. There is a little bit of a line forming. Physicist gets a 3-second time penalty. See, Books has come out on another set of wets. I think it's time for intermediates, and you can see that line forming. It's not a dry line, but it's not a full wet line. I think it might be time for intermediates. We'll see if Sprightly's paced. We'll see what Joseph does this lap. He's on wet tires right now, of course, started the race on those tires. His teammate right behind him of Zig has been lapped by him. That's kind of an oof. It is not an Alfa Romeo 1-2. Joseph does stay out on those wet compound, those wet compounded tires. Physicist as well stays out. Soviet Valkyrie goes into the pits. On wets right now. Book's a little squirmy out that final corner. Ball guy stays out. Aphid is in now. Are these guys going to go for intermediates? Yes, they will. Oh boy, a bunch of penalties coming in now. Let's check those penalties. 3 seconds for Joseph. 3 seconds for Physicist. 3 seconds for Wavy and Zig. 5 seconds for Mary Jane, as I saw speeding in the pit lane there. And then 8 seconds for the likes of Books, who added 3 seconds, and then he sped in the pits as well. Books is all over the back of Physicist. Can he get good traction out of that chicane? They're side by side going down under the hairpin, and Physicist concedes the position. Books pitted for those wets, but he is on a charge now, and he is already well within the pit window of Joseph ahead. Does Joseph elect to stay out still? Yes, he does. Sprightly gets by Wavy. Sprightly is on a set of intermediate tires. And it looks like he is charging up through the field quite quickly. Books, though, on that fresh set of wets, sets the quickest lap of the race. Sprightly back into the pits. Oh no, he's not in the pits. No, he gets a 3-second time penalty, as many others do at this point. Who is in the pits, though, is Bald Guy. He's coming out now on that set of intermediate tires. It's going to be awfully close with the likes of Aphid, and Aphid's right there, but he cannot get by him at this point in time. There's only 5 drivers still left on the wet tires. And intermediates, as Skeppy says in chat, are miles faster. Books and Joseph losing time, oh so much time, by staying out on those wet tires. As well as Physicist and Butters, as you can see. Compared to the start of the race, it is not monsoon raining anymore. And Joseph finally comes in the pits. Book stays out. Joseph comes in for a set of intermediate tires. Book sets the fastest lap of the race still. If he was on intermediates, he'd be flying at this point. Sprightly, one of the first ones on intermediate tires, does set the quickest lap of the race, and is not too far behind provisional race leader Joseph. I think Books had the right strategy call by coming in the pits, but unfortunately he went on the wrong tires. Wets are not the quickest tire anymore, as intermediates are definitely the quicker set of tires now. So we'll see what Books decides to do. Will he come in the pits this lap? Going down the straight, he's just losing more and more time the longer he decides to stay out on those set of wets, and he does finally decide to come in and says, Inters are faster. And he has that 5-second time penalty to serve, so he's going to be sitting there what feels like an eternity for him. Straps on a set of intermediates, and we'll see where he comes out. Butters still decides to stay out on wets, and Sprightly catching him, hunting him down oh so quickly right now. As you can see, those intermediates on Sprightly's car have much more grip than the wets on Butters' car. Is he gonna go for a move at the end of this first sector? No, he will not. Sticks behind Sprightly's teammate of Soviet Valkyrie right behind him, as well as Sprightly gets good traction out of there. Will he go for a move into this part of the track? Butters is on the slower tire right now. And he parks it on the apex. And Soviet Valkyrie gets two in one corner. Gets them both done, Butters and Sprightly. Goes a little bit deep at the hairpin, but gets both positions up into P2. And Joseph is almost 13 seconds ahead. Which is crazy to say because 13 seconds is the gap he would need to win the race. Affid, 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings again. Joseph is just pulling away from this pack of cars. Books made a major mistake by pitting onto wet tires earlier in the crossover period, and now he has traffic ahead of him. He's already dispatched to Butters, who is falling dramatically off the pace, and Valkyrie's a bit deep there. Was in P2, going to be challenged by her teammate Sprightly. Can he go down the inside? No. And as of right now, Sprightly looking oh so desperately to get by. They're going 3 wide down into the hairpin, and there's contact. And Sprightly keeps it off the. No, he doesn't. That's an F. That's a mega F. Books now up into P2. Well then, that was an attempt and a half to save the car. Books back up into P2, checking penalties right now. Joseph has the gap to win the Canadian Grand Prix. I have no words. I have no words. Front wing. So, even though he has a 10-second time penalty and a 3-second time penalty to go on top of that, Joseph is still leading. And ooh, that stream was glitchy right there. I apologize for that. Joseph is still leading the Canadian Grand Prix. And Affid is falling down the order. I wonder what happened to him, and Butters gets a little loose on exit there. Those wets just not working for Butters anymore. He probably should come in and put on a set of intermediates, but is persistent with it. And is staying out on those wet tires. I mean, sure. Zach the Beast says, get Joseph up into higher tier, man, zoom in. Yeah, he is right now. But I feel like Books would be a lot closer to him if he hadn't made that mistaken pit stop. Let's call it that. Looking for battles back in the pack. Looks like Soviet Valkyrie and Baldguy are going to go at it here. Soviet Valkyrie's in P3 right now. No. Goes a bit deep at the hairpin, and Baldguy is right there. They're going to go side by side down the straight. Sophia Valkyrie looks at a bit of wing damage, and Baldguy has more battery at this point. Or does he? Who breaks later? Baldguy breaks later, but he picks up a 3-second time penalty while doing it. Aphid all over the back of Mary Jane. Mary Jane back up into P6 after that drive-through. As people are seeing that this man, Joseph, has a 10-second time penalty. And he still has the gap to win at this point as Sprightly gets by Butters, who finally decides that it's time to come in for a set of intermediates. A bit too late, you think? I think so. As Joseph is almost on the same straight of him. Joseph is in the 3rd sector, and Butters is in the 1st sector. So, yeah. Looking for the closest battle on track. It's pretty much this right now. It was the fight for the lead. Not anymore, though. Zach the Beast. Now he knows how it feels watching a single person mop the floor week in and week out. Yes, Zach. This is how it feels. And I commentate over it every week, so I definitely know how it feels. Every single week. Somehow. Doesn't matter the circumstance, doesn't matter the weather, doesn't matter rain or shine. Doesn't matter penalties, doesn't matter anything. This man, Joseph, will always lead the race provisionally at some point. At some point. He even had a 10-second penalty coming into this one. And we all knew it. He's still leading. Provisionally, yes. But he's still leading. This looks like it might get into a 3-way fight real quick. Physicist in P5, Mary Jane P6. Aphid P7, looking very tasty indeed. Mary Jane already getting all over the back. A Physicist closing a half a second right there. Gonna send it round the outside at the hairpin. Can she do the switchback? No, not right now. Physicist struggling for grip on those intermediate tires, and Mary Jane's gonna try to look for traction out of that hairpin right there. Does not get it the same way Physicist does, and Aphid going down the straight, trying to get in on this battle as well. Oh, Physicist has made a mistake there, and Mary Jane now takes the position Physicist wants back, though. No, it will not happen. Mary Jane a little deep there, but holds her own and keeps the position of P5. Aphid now all over the back of Physicist as well, and makes the move there as Physicist went wide and is definitely struggling for grip now. Goes wide like Sebastian Vettel. Wow, that really reminded me of Sebastian Vettel wide. Canada 2011, anyone? Now Aphid is trying to challenge Mary Jane as we got a horrible engine glitch there. Joseph, fastest lap of the race. I mean, yeah, what else do we expect? Aphid, though, trying to get past Mary Jane for P5. Doesn't matter the circumstance of penalties whatsoever to both of them. They want to keep P5 right now, and Aphid's looking to the inside. Thinks better of it going into the chicane, but lets Mary Jane know that he's there. Mary Jane hits the wall a little bit on exit. That'll give Aphid ever more encouragement to go for the move down the inside of turn 1. No, he stays behind for right now, but Mary Jane goes deep, and Aphid Gonna try round the outside at turn 2. Can he get the traction out of the corner? Yes, he can. Forces Mary Jane deep. And then does the move round the outside. What a move from Aphid there. Unfortunately, that was the closest battle on track. I quite enjoyed that up until then, but Physicist and Butters are going to be close on exit, you know? Unfortunately, Physicist comes out ahead. That much. Close. We'll see if Butters can get on the back of him, though. Sprightly and Avi looks like it's going to get close pretty soon. As the rain is getting lighter and lighter. I don't know if we'll ever get to dry conditions. Doubt it, but you never know. Never know at all. Sprightly ever closing on Avi. Avi, the only, well, I shouldn't say that. Avi and Butters, the only drivers right now to have not received a penalty. And if a safety car came out, it would help both their races immensely. It would also destroy any hope that Joseph has of winning. I'm not saying that to hurt him, I'm just saying that as a fact. Because it'd be hard to pull this 10-second gap again after a safety car restart. Sprightly looking for every way to get by Avi now, going into the first sector. Still in the wheel tracks of that McLaren, the Williams driver wants to get by. Avi's a little wide there. Gives motivation for Sprightly. Looks to the inside, not going to do it though into this corner. Avi a little loose on exit. Sprightly's on the outside now. Can he make the move work? They're side by side going into the hairpin. Who breaks later? Looks like Avi. But Sprightly still on the outside. What a camera angle this is. And Sprightly gets the traction out of that hairpin there, and they're still side by side going down this back straight. Who will keep the position? Who will break later into the final chicane? Oh, and yeah, Avi's broken way too late there, and he gets a 3-second time penalty for it. Soviet Valkyrie's in the pit. I thought maybe for a new wing, but there is no new wing on that Williams car, so that's unfortunate. Oh, and Wavy. And Mary Jane's trying to get by Wavy. Wavy awfully slow there. This is about to become a 5-way battle. I wouldn't count this over yet, folks. Books is closing the gap ever so slightly each lap. But he has an extra 3-second time penalty on top of that, so. Oh, Mary Jane's really deep at the hairpin there. Keeps it out of the wall, but Soviet Valkyrie now is on her inside, and they both go side by side down the back straight. Looks like Soviet Valkyrie is going to take the position. Oh, Mary Jane almost hits the back of Soviet Valkyrie and goes into the pit lane. I don't know if she wanted to go into the pit lane. And there's a set of medium tires waiting. Interesting. Oh yes, it has stopped raining, but it is nowhere near dry conditions yet. Nowhere near. It has stopped raining, so I'd say soft tires to the end once you do pit, but it is nowhere near dry conditions yet. I expect Mary Jane to awfully struggle with those slicks on her car. Books is in the pits. for a set of mediums. He's gonna lose time doing this. The track does not look dry at all yet. You can still see the spray coming off of those intermediate tires of Joseph, and Mary Jane gets lapped. So, Joseph with a literal 34-second gap. Ever growing as well because Books is on slicks on a wet track. Bald Guy's about to get by. Soviet Valkyrie gets by Wavy. Despite the wing damage, doesn't matter for her, still gets by Wavy. Sprightly still all over the back of Avi. So I'd say soft tires to the end once the track dries up, but it is way too early for slicks, and Avi goes deep at the hairpin. Way too deep. Gonna have to do a 360 there, or a 180 I should say. Sprightly finally gets the position. Soviet Valkyrie and Wavy are going at it down the straight. You can still see how much spray is coming off those tires, as Books has basically screwed himself for any chance of a race win here at Canada. I think Joseph is legitimately going to win this race. Affid gets by Books because Books is on a much slower compounded tire. Oh, Mary Jane struggles for traction through the final chicane. Struggles for grip in general with Joseph. 40 seconds out ahead. Track's still way too wet for any set of dry tires. 40-second lead. I did not think I would see it today. Did not. Whatever. Whatsoever. And the lead is going... well, it won't be this large, but... Joseph is now going through the hairpin, and Bald Guy is not even through the first sector yet. Yeah. 40-second lead. Crazy. It's getting close to the dry period. I can see there's not as much spray coming off, but still enough to keep these drivers on intermediate tires. Sprightly getting by Wavy after Wavy makes a mistake. Books still dropping down the order after pitting way too early for medium tires. Physicist gets by Avi. Avi struggling for grip on those intermediate tires. Sprightly gets by Books, who continues to struggle. Mary Jane unfortunately retires from her home Grand Prix. Ooh, Wavy goes in the pits. Would that be a set of softs? Still looks too wet, in my opinion. Joseph gets by Wavy, who is in the pits. Butters still moving up the pack. Avi's in P10. Will get lapped by Joseph doing this move for another set of enters. Interesting. Well, is Wavy, another set of enters. I mean, this is crazy. 41 second lead right now. 41 seconds. Wow. Well, let's check these penalties now. Joseph, 3 seconds. Bald Guy, 3 seconds. I don't think Bald Guy is going to catch 30 seconds. Aphid, 6 seconds worth of penalties. Soviet Valkyrie, P4 right now. 3 seconds worth of penalties. Good drive from Soviet Valkyrie. Started P11. Right now, P4. Sprightly, 6 seconds worth of penalties. Wavy gets by Butters. Wow, this track is just not drying up at all. It has stopped raining for a while. But, oh, yellow flag. That is Books, whose race has gone to a disaster, as he has no grip on those medium tires at all. Well, this is crazy. Bald Guy is catching Joseph. Nowhere near the pace he needs to. But he's catching. And Joseph just looks like he's cruising. Not even pushing anymore. Those intermediates look awfully worn, and Aphid goes for a set of soft tires. Nothing to lose for Aphid. Track does look like it's getting drier. In fact, might just be time for dry tires. Still a lot of spray coming off the tires. Could be wrong. Joseph has a puncture, and he doesn't pit. He's got a puncture. There's no way he can make it. Oh no! Joseph is not going to win this race. 18-lap-old intermediates. Does that mean the likes of Sprightly could also be in danger of a puncture? Bald Guy might win this race. Aphid drops down the pack now after pitting for soft tires too early. Joseph has a puncture. And he is awfully slow, and Bald Guy is catching. Bald Guy is going to win this race. Maybe. I don't know who's going to win this race right now. So unfortunate for Joseph. Rear left puncture for Joseph, and his hopes of winning the Tier 6 Canadian Grand Prix with it. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Oh, Soviet Valkyrie's a bit deep there. Her teammate is chasing her down, and there's a bunch of drivers going onto soft tires at this point. Joseph drops out of the podium places. Mary Jane's left the session P11 right now. Unfortunate for her. It's a double Williams podium right now. And Joseph is still limping back oh so slowly to the pit lane. Does he have a double puncture? No, he doesn't. I apologize for that. Batteries died. DRS enabled. That means it's time for soft tires. Oh boy. What will people decide to do? If I were Bald Guy, I'd pit right now for those soft tires. Because I know I could still make up that time. In fact, I might just come out in the lead still. Just don't speed. Bald Guy's gonna win. Yes, he is. Joseph, 3-second time penalty to add salt to the wound right now. Hey, Books is catching back up to him. Look, we're gonna get the fight we all wanted. Heavy sets a purple sector 1 there. How about that? Soviet Valkyrie stayed out, risking it all. The Bald Guy's just gonna have superior grip and just steam by Soviet Valkyrie. As DRS open for Bald Guy. Soviet Valkyrie on enters, stays behind for right now. Bald Guy's got to be careful not to hit the slow Williams, and he is through up into P1 of this race. Affid, a 3-second time penalty, as he was one of the first ones to pit, or I think he was second to pit. Avi sets the quickest lap of the race at 1:19.1. Did Sprightly catch back up to Soviet Valkyrie in time? I think so. 2 laps worth? Yeah. Yellow flag, sector 1. Not sure who that was. Sprightly now sets the quickest lap of the race, goes down, or doesn't, I guess. Goes around the outside with the superior grip to the Red Bull of Wavy on those intermediate tires. Some drivers electing to stay out and gamble on those intermediate tires, and I think might cost Soviet Valkyrie a position. We'll see. Still in P2, but her teammate of Sprightly on fresh softs charging. Can he get P2? Yellow flag, sector 1, that is Butters. One of the ones who stayed out on intermediates and risked it, and he's got a puncture. That's ruined his chance. As long as he finishes, he scores points. But this Williams battle going on to the last lap of the race. Let's check penalties now. Sprightly has 6 or 3 seconds more than Soviet Valkyrie, so he would need to pass his teammate and then gain 3 more seconds. Podium looks set right now, but in which order? Oh no, Soviet Valkyrie's got another 3 seconds. Now they're on even terms. I think Sprightly will definitely get P2 here. Physicist gets by Wavy, who is still on those intermediate tires, and Aphid! Probably clips that incident. Sprightly's catching up to Soviet Valkyrie. It's going to be a photo finish for them. But Bald Guy coming to the line, an unlikely victory, 40 seconds behind first after they got a puncture. He wins the Canadian Grand Prix, and Soviet Valkyrie drops down to P3, but it's going to try to fight back with all that battery that she has. Does not have the grip whatsoever. Aphid retires. What has happened to Aphid? Soviet Valkyrie still gets a podium. Would have gotten P2 if they did not get a penalty on that last lap. Have not seen what happened to Aphid and Wavy. No, that's Butters. Butters. Reversing to the line with his puncture. As he will finish P10. Wow, okay, that I did not expect. Did not expect whatsoever. Not one bit. Joseph won't even end up P5. He will end up, unfortunately, P6 after his 10-second time penalty is applied. Soviet Valkyrie, driver of the day. I can definitely agree with that one. Started P11. Almost got P2. Ended up in a podium anyway. Wow. Here are your podium sitters. Bald Guy, P1 for the second week in a row. Unlikely victory. Sprightly, P2. And then Soviet Valkyrie, P3, a double Williams podium. Time to go over your finishing order. Bald Guy takes victory in the Canadian Grand Prix. Sprightly P2. Soviet Valkyrie P3. Physicist P4. A great day for Ferrari and Williams alike. Alfa Romeo, or not Alfa Romeo, Joseph P5 provisionally. He will end up P6 after his 10-second time penalty gets applied. So Wavy will be promoted up into P5. Joseph P6. Avi P7, Aphid P8, then Books P9, Butters rounding out the top 10. Let me invite everyone. While we wait for the other two, possibly, make sure you have your audio included, Bald Guy. I mean, Ferrari got first and fourth. Well, give me a second. Puncture. Well, I guess I'm gonna start with you. Wait, Sprightly's typing. Let's see. Well, I'll start with you. I think Sprightly might join late. Soviet Valkyrie might join as well. So, 40 seconds behind first. I don't think, I didn't expect you to win. Definitely. I don't think anyone expected you to win. I don't think even you expected yourself to win. Yes. Yeah, no, go on, my bad. Yeah, I th- I was mentioning on stream that that he has his 10-second time penalty and he still had the gap for most of the race. Because Books made a pit stop for wets early on when it was changing to inters, so that messed him up quite a bit and put him almost 20 seconds off the back of Joseph. And then Books had some pace, but he pitted way too early for slicks as well. Probably want to wait for that DRS enabled symbol to even think before pitting for slicks. And then I'm getting a interview from Soviet Valkyrie and I'll read it off here too, so that's why I'm kind of stuttering right now. I think Sprightly wants to join as well, so we'll get him in here. I'll tell you why later. Oh, can't hear. Do you have your audio included? Oh. Apparently they can't hear you, unfortunately. So, well, I'll read this off from Soviet Valkyrie. Quite happy with her first podium in an F1 league. She could have had second, but teammate had a 3-second time penalty. Car we lapped crossed my path, and I was forced out of the track and got an extra 3. So because I remember she stayed out on intermediates to try to keep that P2. It didn't work out in the end, and her teammate Sprightly got passed on soft slicks. Just at the end there, it was all the way down to the final chicane. And yeah. I don't think we'll get Sprightly this time if he gets another podium this season. Because he said he's not used to being on the podium, so that's why he forgot to join. So yeah, I think that'll be it. Basically, Bald Guy. If no one could hear Bald Guy, he kind of agreed with me, saying that no one, including himself, thought he would win. He didn't know exactly what happened to Joseph, but as I said, he got a puncture. Yeah, and then takes a very unexpected win here at the Canadian Grand Prix. We'll be back next week for more track limits at Austria. 1 week's time, Tier 6 Mondays at 9 o'clock EST.